everyone, Shannon with Kromm Real Estate Team. In the sake of showing you all things Central Oregon, we're going to take you down a trip down memory lane.
That's right. My wife Shannon here is a born and raised native of Sisters, and we're gonna, kind of compare and contrast Sisters now versus Sisters back in the, 80s and 90s to see if it's right for you.
This is going to be a disaster. As a kid, things in Sisters were different.
For instance?
Well, Sisters is a tight-knit community. Funny memory here. As a kid, I was riding my bike through Village Green. I was like 10, maybe, and they had just poured fresh concrete in front of the bathrooms for a sidewalk, and I decided I'm gonna ride my bike through that.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, it was like one of those Calvin and Hobbes moments, I guess you could say. But after I rode through it, I decided to stop and I was gonna write my name in it. There's only so many little 10-year-old blonde little girls riding around on a purple Huffy. And at the time, my parents and grandparents owned a gas station, motel, and a towing company. So they call your dad direct.
No anonymity there, right?
No.
Everyone knows your name.
Yes.
So yeah, the town of Sisters, when she was growing up, I think when you graduated, the population was like 911.
911.
Versus today, where there's 3,000 people that live in Sisters. So still a very small town, but you probably won't have the same kind of problems that she had.
Yeah, it's like Cheers, everyone knows your name.
So something that we've had discussions about as parents with young kids going into school now is buses. Now, I always rode the bus growing up as a kid. Even when we lived in Nashville, I rode a city bus. A city bus.
Yeah.
But you, on the other hand,
I didn't ride the bus. I lived in town. So my dad drove me to school or I walked to school. That's just what we did. I mean, I would ride the bus if we went on a field trip or if I was going to my grandma's house out in Tollgate, but it was never enough to where I figured out what number you're supposed to get on or when do you know to get off the bus? Is this your stop? Or why is there no seatbelts in the bus? These are questions I don't know.
So you're saying the town was so small that you didn't even need to ride the bus?
Yes. Well, I mean, the kids that live outside of town, they rode the bus. But the bus didn't come to where I lived because I lived in town. And the schools were, at that time, right next to each other.
Yeah, so now the schools are spread out a little bit more. So the elementary school's over on the east side of town. The middle school,
which was the high school,
which used to be the high school, yes honey, thank you, is now on the far west side of town. And then the high school
is brand new and state of the art. I mean, it's really fancy.
The high school is more to the northwest side of town.
Mm-hmm.
And the high school is ranked in the top 5,000 schools in the country based on some recent U.S. News World Report, as I read. Next, we're going to talk about something that has changed a bunch since back in the day: healthcare. Now, currently there are 3 particular urgent care, offices to go to in Sisters. But when you were a kid,
yeah, when I lived here, there was one of everything. Maybe one doctor's office, one dentist's office, maybe one physical therapy office. But my dad was of the opinion, when you crack your head open, you just go to the fire hall. Or you go to the clocksmith because he moonlights as an EMT. And so if you have strep throat, he'll look down your throat. That's just kind of what we did.
So when there's not a lot of doctors around, just hit the fire hall. They're all trained.
It works. Nowadays, there's far more options in town, and you would need to go to the big town if you needed to go to a specialist.
Yeah.
But you don't have to bug the fire hall.
Now, this last thing that we're going to talk about is kind of talking about more about families and what is there to actually do in town.
As a teenager living in Sisters, for lack of a better word, it sucked. There was nowhere to go. You wanted to go shopping, you wanted to go to a movie theater. I mean, there's obviously, you can ride your bike to the creek or some trails, but you're a teenager. You want to go to the big town. You want to go to McDonald's. I mean, I remember kids during lunch break during high school, they would race into Bend to go to McDonald's.
Like in school?
Yes, in school. And I mean, they'd be late getting back, but it was totally worth it, you know.
Well, that's kind of funny because today we have both a movie theater and a McDonald's right in town.
I mean, now I kind of feel bad for the 16-year-olds because they have no excuse to go into Bend because they have both of those things now. Also, important note for aspiring drivers who need to take the driver's license test, practice in a town that has at least a stoplight.
And multiple lanes?
And multiple lanes. Well, first of all, I mean, I should have taken my test in Redmond, not Bend. Didn't really think about that.
Well, we can spare you the traumatic events of you may or may not having getting your driver's license when you took the test, and we'll just go ahead and move on to something different now. What is important is that Sisters today is a lot different than it was when you were growing up.
So growing up here, all you want to do is get out. You want to go to concerts, you want to go shopping, you want to go to the big city. But now, having kids, I look at the sleepy town of Sisters completely different.
Yeah, it's like that kind of town where you can allow the kids to grow up and have a little freedom and roam, and you don't have to worry about them getting mixed up in a gang or anything.
Oh my gosh. So Sisters today is interesting to me because I look at it as a parent, but also through my upbringing. Kids today have more tools than I did. You know, you have the World Wide Web and you can experience the world, yet you can also raise your children here in a town that is at the doorstep of national forests. You can give them an environment where they can explore and be kids, a little bit more sheltered environment, a more secure environment,
sure,
but yet in a great community that has amazing schools.
Well, if that doesn't sell Sisters, I don't know what does. Thanks guys so much for watching. That's a wrap for us. Listen, if you're interested in Sisters real estate or any real estate in the area, our team would love to hear from you. You can reach out via all the usual methods, text, email, phone, smoke signal, you know the drill. And we would look forward to talking to you. Thanks guys so much for watching, and we will see you over in the next video.
Somewhere, that way.
Cheers. All right, ready?
I'm ready.
Are you sure?
No.
All right.
Okay.
So nowadays,